Greatness will only come to you if you run to it. Greatness will only arise when you step in the fire. You're not afraid to get burned. Mistakes happen. Trials and tribulations happen. Deaths happen. But you gotta keep going. You gotta keep believing. I need you to develop that what now mentality. You know exactly what I'm talking about. When you lose that job, when everything disappears, what now? Let me tell you. What now is dedication. Relentless effort to achieve your dreams. Putting a plan together, not just jumping into the water with no life vest. Putting a strategic plan together to be greater than you were yesterday. To be greater than anything anybody could ever imagine. See, this thing about dreams, I believe it's up to other people to believe. And the truth is, the only person that needs to believe in you is you. Woo! Let's go. Good morning, fam. Rise and shine. Happy Friday, TGIF. The growth includes Friday. It's so good to see everybody tapped in. Cedric in the building, JoJo, Shane, and Talina. We are locked and loaded, and it's safe to say there's a lot of abundance that's flowing inside of the chats and around everybody right now. I see JoJo literally in the first couple minutes of the morning. She's already got 5 kachings knocked out in today, and she literally just uploaded that listing last night. Talk about expecting and getting miracles. We put it down, and it is absolutely coming into fruition. So I love to see it. This is so inspiring to see because it's not a surprise. Right? Been putting the time into the gym, developing every day. This is why all of us are experiencing these quantum leaps in different areas of our life. So this is huge. 40 orders this week. Let's get some 4s down below. So proud of you, JoJo, leading the way. Such an inspiration to many. One of the newest future educators in the building. Proud of you. Let's go. It's amazing to see, and I'm not surprised. So here we go, fam. Today's going to be a great topic. As the title states, today we're going to be talking about unleashing the power within, right? Lighting that fire on the inside. So the beginning prefaced it beautifully, and I know today is going to absolutely ring for a lot. This is going to be relatable. So I'm excited. What is everybody grateful for coming into the day? Any pieces of gratitude? Your word for the month? I know Shane was dropping down resilience earlier this week. I love to see it. Phenomenal word. And that's what it's going to take. It's definitely going to take some serious relentlessness and resilience to stay focused in this summer, but it's going to be worth it. So here we go. Lights. Here it is. Activate the power within. Noise. IG is here. Happy Friday, fam. It's good to see you. I'm seeing all the content. I'm seeing all of the growth. It's amazing to see. You guys are absolutely on fire. I'm grateful for each of you. So grateful to be alive. Grateful for the fam. Grateful for God. I'm grateful for this information. I'm so thankful to be on this journey with you. We say it all the time, but it's a different thing to really just sit and embody it. Think about it. If we were to just get handed a trophy, cool. It's a nice looking trophy. It feels really, really nice to hold it, but there's no sense of accomplishment, right? It does really nothing for me to just hold a piece of metal. But what makes the trophy, think about it, what makes a trophy so worth it for anybody? It's not just being able to hold it and pass it around and put it on a stand. It's what it is that trophy stands for. So I believe for every single one of us, you and I, we are a breathing testimony of one of the most amazing trophies that there is. And it doesn't matter what anybody says, what anybody tarnishes your name with. We are all have the same power within. And this is why I want to get into today's training. Because Mina actually talked about it earlier during the week. She's like, imagine if we took $100 bill and we throw it, we crumple it, we dip it in the mud a little bit. Doesn't matter. It still does not change the value of what it is that we are. I heard another really interesting topic the other day about this too. Somebody was talking about paintings. I was watching a documentary with Michael Jordan, how the wealthy, they buy a lot of paintings to use them as write-offs. And the interesting thing about paintings is nobody can really determine exactly what it is of that value, right? If somebody says this is $1 million, somebody buys it for $1 million. Well, to them, that perceived value is actually worth that amount of money. And the guy was looking at it. He's like, it literally just looks like a bunch of scratches. Well, he says, because that's what you see. So this is exactly how life is. I believe for many of us, we've had a lot of negativity, maybe some trials, maybe a couple of tribulations that have allowed us to see ourselves as maybe a little bit broken, not having maybe a perception that we once used to have of ourselves. And this has happened to me, right? I've had a lot of things that have dampened my self-confidence, my self-esteem, my passion even for waking up. And when I go back and I think about how I ended up getting through it, what were the thoughts? What were the actions? The first step was literally lighting that fire from within. I think about my sister. That was one of the biggest things that really lit me aside to just tell myself, I'm not here to just exist. Every one of us, we're here for a purpose. We all have ideas and skills and talents that are screaming to get out. And the wealthiest place that most people end up taking them is to the graveyard. And I'll never forget when I was out there on the beach and I was spreading her ashes. It took me to this point to really realize the purpose of life. Everybody has three parts of a gravestone, right? You have the first date, you have the second date, and we have the dash. And it's so insane how that dash literally is what describes what summons up our entire life. And the reason I'm going back to this that reminded me is yesterday, there was something actually pretty profound. One of my best friends, one of pretty much my bodyguards for the past 6-ish years, since about 2017, my roommate from the first trade house, you know, he saw me from the bottom, literally having no money, knowing nothing about trading, nothing about this industry, and literally just completely growing into a whole different person. And I watched him grow as well. And, you know, recently we've had some really deep conversations just about getting older, right? Because I just turned 30 recently. And he's got some years on me. He's like, D, you know, don't take your time for granted because you never know. And he's been telling me recently that his father's been having some troubles. He's been going blind and he's having a lot of headaches and he hasn't been doing well. And he called me yesterday and he sent me a picture. And he's like, D, you know, give me a couple minutes. I'm actually in the hospital. I'm going to call you right back. And I was like, immediately, like I already knew something was wrong. Something was off. And I look at the picture and I see it loading and I click and I'm waiting for that freaking circle to just go around so I can see the picture load. And this was the picture that he sent me yesterday on June 6th, 2024. Watch how this comes full circle. You ready? IG, if you guys want to catch this, yo, Fred, it's good to see you, brother. Get on IG or get on YouTube. I'm going to have to show the family something real quick. You're not going to want to miss it. All right, so check this out. Let me show you guys this. Watch. Stick with me. He texted me, called me, said, D, I'm going to call you right back. Just check out that picture. And this is what he sent me. It's so wild because literally just like everybody on this journey, right, doing the hard 75, doing the hard 30 challenge, I got him on the same thing. You guys probably seen me post him on my social media, posting him in the group chats. I've literally, he's one of my biggest, pretty much prodigies when it comes to working out, right? I've actually been working on that, working on different meal plans and workouts for people because that's something I'm just knowledgeable about. I just know I'm gifted to be able to help people with that. So I've been putting a lot of time into him, and he's literally dropped probably 90 pounds. And every day he texts me. He's like, D, look, I'm on it. Look at this. I'll show you. I've been getting in the gym with him almost every single day, sometimes 2 days. Been taping him. He's been getting his workouts. He's getting confident. He's got his berries going on. He's texting me all the time. He's like, yo, D, I got my alkaline. I'm checking in. Look at that. I got my fruit. And I was like, yo, I'm so proud of you, D. You're doing amazing. You know, he's been fasting. He cut off alcohol. He cut off smoking. It's like it got me in tears, like how committed he is to becoming the best version of himself. I'm like, bro, what happened? He's like, D, just seeing my father losing it. I got goosebumps as I'm giving this to you. Seeing my father lose it has just given me a whole nother fire I didn't even know I had. He's like, D, it woke me up. He's like, because God forbid if he goes, I'm the man of the house now. My mother needs me. My family needs me. He said, I thought I was going hard before. He's like, bro, I didn't even scratch the surface. He's like, I almost feel angry. And I'm gonna go through that at the end of this call. Remind me, right? The 4 stages of growth. There's 4 stages. And it's exactly what he's going through. And we all get to grow through this process. So here's what it is, right? Here's the picture. He's been doing amazing. He bought I'm like, bro, go get your berries. Go get a blender so we can get this alkaline. He bought his blender literally the other day. I'm like, let's go. And I'm like, yo, that's a game changer. I feel better already. I'm not even hungry. Eating clean will have you feeling different. And here's what he texts me. You ready? Look at this. Sunday. Text me at the gym. New machine. He spent all day with his father. He got his almond butter. And look what he texts me. His father ended up passing away June 6, 2024. And I didn't even know what to say. I was speechless. I had no idea it was that serious. I'm like, yo, hopefully, you know, he's at the hospital. He's just doing a quick little checkup to go ahead and come back home. I had no idea when he sent me this picture that he was in a coma and he had brain damage that was completely irreversible. Had no idea. And he finally calls me back and he starts explaining it. And I started waterfalling. I couldn't hold it back. And I just told him, you know, it's a celebration. And it hit me hard, but it took me a couple minutes to think about it. I was like, you know what? Do you know what month this actually is? He's like, D, you're one of the most important people in my life. I had to tell you. And I was like, you know why you had to tell me? Because out of anybody, I can relate. You know what happened to me in June in 2014? What lit my fire on this side like never before? And I pray that any of you on this call never have to wait till something like this happens in your life where it finally lights the switch and it ignites it. June 26th, this month right here, since 2014, has forever impacted my entire life. In one day, 1 second, one call, one moment, life can completely change. And that's what happened to me. June 26th is the day that my sister passed. June 26th. And I told him, this is a month that you'll always, always be able to cherish. And it's not a month to be sad. It's not a month to go ahead and down yourself. It's a month to go ahead and celebrate. Because he's like, he went on to tell me, he's like, D, he gave me everything he had. My father was a doctor. We spent the past 30 years together. We pretty much worked together. So I got a chance to see him every day. We had so many things that we did together. And my mentor tells me all the time, he's like, when somebody passes, he's like, D, I don't want you to be sad. I don't want you to be upset. I want you to realize that it's a celebration and you have a guardian angel now. I see my sister all the time. I was telling him, I was like, bro, you see us when we go out in nature, I call it out. I'm like, yo, you see the butterfly? She's here. You see that bluebird that just went by? She's watching. The red cardinal that's sitting up in the tree? She's peeking. I see her all the time. And that's the beauty of it, right? They're always with you. So if you have somebody in your life that God forbid this might have happened to you, realize that they're always with you. And that's a piece of guidance. That's a voice that you get to tap into every single day. When you're afraid, you're fearful, you have more than just your creator. We have angels that are guiding every single one of us every day. I believe that. I feel it. I've seen it. So I just wanted to get on with today. I didn't really have a topic. This was just straight off the top. lighting the fire within, because I was emotional all day yesterday. It really lit me up. And it gave me a lot of perspective. Even with my father, like, we need to go out more. We need to go out to dinner. We need to do things. Time doesn't wait on anybody. So for your loved ones in your life, maybe that you haven't spoke to in a while, maybe that you have a grudge, this might be your sign to make that call. Because you don't want to wait until there's a day where you can't do it, even if you wanted to. And now that is the moment that sparks everything. Don't wait for that moment. Learn from me. Don't wait till that time to realize that time is precious. The last thing I want to leave everybody with, I saw this picture the other day, and it was like it was basically like a time frame, right? And it had like 30 years on the time frame. And it had like all your different loved ones on top. Like it had like mom, dad, cousin, sister, friends. And we think we have 30 years, but I want to give you a perfect example. Imagine this, right? How old are your grandparents? Watch this. I'm gonna wake everybody up right now, because this is what it did for me. I only want to pass on the emotions that I've been able to feel. I want to transfer this energy. How old are your grandparents? My grandfather's 80, right? My father's 25 years older. My grandfather's 50. So 30 on the dot. So he's 80, right? 80 years old. It's really interesting. Now, I want you guys to think about this, okay? Imagine just on a year timeline, right? Whatever it is, 96, 80. I'm just going to say for my grandfather, 80 years old, let's say on a 20-year timeline, right? In an ideal world, 100, 110, right? 20, 30 years. Taleem's granddad's 104. So look at this, stretching it. Let's say 110-year time frame. Crazy. Yo, that's insane. I saw him too. It's real stuff. He's a G. Still thriving, right? Imagine a 20, 30-year time frame, and it had two pieces. It had the 20, 30 year, but then under it, it had like these little tiny blocks. And it was like 1 year, maybe like a 3-year gap, boom. Maybe a 2-year gap, boom. Maybe a 5-year gap, boom. And in a 30-year time frame, how we think we're going to see them all these different times, we really only end up seeing them maybe 9 times. 9 more times. Think about that. Maybe a handful of Christmases, a handful of Thanksgivings. Maybe you guys do something during the summer. But how often do we do that? Once or twice a year? Maybe? So this is me. Guess what I'm doing off of this call? Going to see my grandfather. Going to spend some time. They hit me like a brick. Think about that. 20 birthdays left to go and celebrate with them. 20 summers left. 20 Christmases left. That's it. So time moves very fast. So for me, as I'm getting older, they say when you look at the 1%, there's 2 things that separate the 1%. 2 things, 2 major differences. Because they bleed like you and I. They sleep. They talk. What's the difference? One is belief. Their level of belief for themselves, it's at a whole different stratosphere. Number 2, the second biggest thing that they have is their sense of urgency. When you look at the 1%, you may not really understand, you may not know it, but I can promise you a huge reason why many of them are at where they're at is because their sense of urgency. They realize that time moves quick. It doesn't wait on anybody. Sent my grandparents to Puerto Rico. iPad taught them how to use it just so we can see each other and talk all the time. How cool is that? I love that. But this is it. This is one of the realest pieces that I could give any one of you for today. How to go ahead and light that fire is their sense of urgency. They know that tomorrow's not promised. They know they only have maybe so many times to be able to see their grandparents. Maybe some of them are living in a nursing home, and they don't want them to live like that. They want to be able to provide, have them enjoy the last handful of years at home, comfortable, maybe traveling, doing big things, doing things that they enjoy. Woo! So that's my topic for today, fam. I had to get it off my chest. It was just something it's a really emotional topic for me. And I know this has attributed a huge piece to where it is that I am today. Nobody's special, but I know there's a reason why they say pressure creates diamonds. Because it takes pressure. Anybody can be lackadaisical. Anybody can just get by. But there's a reason why there's 95%. There's a reason why there's 5%. The 5% think different, move different, feel different, eat different, drink different. And it just comes down to getting around it. And when you're around it often enough, success leaves clues. And these are just a couple things I've been able to notice over the handful of years. So, fam, that's my training for today. Super short and sweet, but I just want to paint some perspective on how to go ahead and light that fire within. Who do you really love? Who do you care for? Your grandparents? Amazing. I want you to do me a favor today. Give them a call, and I want you to ask them, what are some things that you would truly love to do? Some of them might say that I want to go to a zoo. I want to garden, right? I want to go dance. I want to go somewhere. Listen to that answer and let that answer light your fire. That's just a tip. That's just one idea I can give you guys. There's so many different ways to do it. But I believe when we start to see that we're doing this bigger than just for ourselves, that's when we start to move out of the way. Because we might not do things for you and I, but I bet we'll probably do things for the ones that we love. Yes? Yes or yes? Right? Absolutely. So, fam, I love you guys. I appreciate you. Have a phenomenal Friday. If nobody told you today, let me be the first to tell you I'm proud of you. I appreciate you. I'm grateful for each of you, and know that you're different. You matter. Your story is more valuable than you ever know. And there's never been a more important time for us to be bold, because I believe we're the ones. We are the curse breakers. We are the change makers. We are the ones to go out and make a positive dent in the world. And without us, the world is a completely different place. So I love you, fam. My grandma never learned to ride a bike. She told me she wishes she knew how. It's the little things. See, I'm telling you, it's the little things. So huge questions for today. And actually, I did have something I want to give you guys before we get off. So this morning we were talking about, I've told you guys about quantum linguistic questions, right? So QLQ, right? Who do I become when I'm no longer fearful of the things that stress me out every day? Who do I become when I'm ready to go ahead and step into my greatness? Who do I become when I'm ready to go ahead and provide for my family? A little bit bolder, a little bit more pep in the step, a little bit more action. So, fam, I'm right there with you. Let's go ahead and make it happen. We become absolutely unstoppable. Yes. So, fam, remember, we can be, do, and have anything. We can hold our mind. We can hold it right here in our hand. Drop some fires down below. Smash that like button, not for anybody, but for yourself, right? For today. If we can overflow, now we can pour into others. So take some time in today, fill up your cup. Let's have an amazing rest of the weekend and get ready, because June, we are jumping to new levels. It's game time, Dream Team. Let's get to work.